Hello and welcome to another episode of Beyond the Bell. We've just had a brilliant night here at the O2. Kaylee Reese is joining me, so's Andy Lee. First of all, guys, we should really talk about our headline act because up comes Cameron, double world champion now. It was quite entertaining. Andy, what did you make of it?
Yeah, it was a fantastic fight. Even though Cameron was always winning the fight, was slightly ahead in most rounds, McGee was, played her part, put up a great effort, showed that she is his champion as well. A lot of desire, and it was just a slightly better technique from Cameron, better footwork, and a little bit more ring generalship that saw her through. So yeah, it was a good performance, and now she'll fight possibly you next. How do you feel? What do you feel about the performance? How do you feel you stack up against Cameron?
I mean, these are the types, just like she said, these are the types of fights that I want as a champion, that I want as a 13-year veteran in a game. I'm not in this to fight, tomato cans and just have a built-up record. I've never had that luxury. I've been the B-side for the majority of my career. I'm a 3-time middleweight world champion also. So, this excites me. It doesn't scare me. I don't get scared. If I was in this fight game, then fear, you can't have any fear. So, again, kudos and congratulations to Chantelle Camerons. She did exactly what she came in to do. She had the faster feet and the faster hands. But Mary McGee, man, what a champion. She doesn't maybe have the most boxing technique style, but she's relentless. She comes through. She hits hard. I mean, we saw Cameron's face was a little chopped up, at the end. So she was in the fight every second. So kudos to her, man.
Big night for the heavyweights as well. A couple of big knockouts. Alan Babich did but kind of what it says on the tin, really, doesn't it, with him? He is entertaining. It feels like it's a word that we always say with him. But what I quite enjoyed was your breakdown of that, because you said you were really disappointed with the way it ended. Because Melina, really, that's pretty shocking what you thought he did.
Yeah, maybe he was. That might have been a little bit harsh in the immediate aftermath. But I expect more from someone who calls himself a professional boxer. It's your job. You got to come in shape and you got to put up your best effort. And I'm not sure. Listen, Melini's 39 now, and he's been around a long time. So maybe that is his best effort. That was the first right hand they threw, and it was a knockdown immediately. But after that, some of the knockdowns were a bit dubious. That one especially. And the final one, there was a right hand, but then he seems to have taken it, and then he lies down. But Babich did what he had to do. And he is, they call it, a little bit reckless. But he's winning 9 fights and 9 knockouts. And you can't argue with that.
He's given the fans what they want to see, Kaylee, isn't he?
Absolutely. Like I said, he's an entertainer, and he does exactly what he says he's going to do. I mean, if that was Melina's best effort, I've seen better efforts out of the people selling soda and popcorn in the concession stand here. So I really, there's 2 things that bother me. Is not making weight and then quitting. This is a very serious game. You can't play any games in there. So you got to be either all in or all out. He was clearly here to collect the check, and I hope he's happy with it,
How far do you think he can go, Andy? Because we heard there in his post-fight interview, he was saying, I was a little bit reckless, actually. Mike Costello said it as well. Does he need to tighten up on a few things before he can go the distance? Does he need a few more fights?
I think they're matching him well. Like Melina, whatever he is, a shadow of his former self, still a good name. And listen, there are a lot of heavyweights out there that are dangerous for Babich. But he is what he is, and I don't think you have to match him really too hard to get the best out of him, because he's entertaining. He comes to fight, so I think you can just keep him in, and he's a small heavyweight. You can't really put him in there with a guy who's 6'6", 250 pounds, because it'll just look ridiculous. I think match him the way they are, and he'll give us good fights, and that's one thing he does, So just enjoy it while we can. And in terms of him having aspirations to going on to become a world champion, we'll see. You never know how you can't put limits on somebody. But for now, I think we just enjoy the entertainment, match him with similar styles, and it'll be a good ride while it lasts.
Sticking with the heavyweights, the whole of the O2 were on their feet. A lot of Johnny Fisher's friends were brought in, from people who know from university, from Romford as well. 1,400 tickets sold just for Johnny Fisher. I mean, he put on a show as well, Kelly. Were you impressed with him?
Absolutely. Like I said, I was there when he fought his last fight as well, and I did see improvements. I mean, big investment, big return, and he's doing and moving right along with a good team behind him. And, you know, with the 1,400 tickets sold, these fans and that energy, he's, you know, starting to learn really early on in his career that this crowd and this entertainment part of the business he got. I mean, again, he's going to have to move a little slow, move correctly, but I've seen a lot of improvement from when I saw him the last time. As a heavyweight, he has a promising career ahead of him if he moves right correctly.
Andy, we heard in comms, he's made some improvements in the 4 fights that we've seen him. How far do you think he can go with his career?
I think he can go a long way, but you don't start out as world champion. It's a progression, and it takes time, and that's one thing they have, is a luxury they have, because he's young, and he hasn't got a lot of amateur experience, so they're going to have to do that with him. And I would say give him 15, 16 fights before I'd even look at stepping him up. If he's selling tickets, he's a lovely young man. That'll buy him some time. You know, there's no rush to put him in there. He's got Mark Tibbs and Jimmy Tibbs, the world of experience there. So he's in good hands. And I like him. I like the package. I like the personality. I like the look and the nickname and his style. You know, he's just he's a bit of a throwback, and I think he can go a long way. I think, yeah, there's a big future in the game.
We saw his dad was selling tickets. His dad said, look, I sold this many tonight. Could have sold more than that. When you've got someone like that on your team, you're going to sell a lot of tickets, aren't you, really? Let's talk about Craig Richards, because he was quite full of it after the fight. He edged his way into it, started off perhaps a bit slowly, then edged his way into it. And he said, look, actually, in my division, I think I'm the best. He certainly talks the talk. But does he walk the walk, clearly?
I think he's going to have to do a lot more to rattle the division, because there's a lot of game people and a lot of game fighters in this division. I mean, he is kind of a lax fighter, and you know, he had the opportunity to probably put the foot on the gas a little bit sooner. And if he wants to really rattle up the division, I think he's going to have to do what he did in the 4th round, right from jump on these opponents and let your presence be known. Because I don't think anybody's really, you know, kind of looking at him like a huge threat, not taking anything away from him, but maybe his style, people are going to figure him out because he's a little bit of a late starter, and he's a little bit lax in his style. I think he's a great fighter. He has tremendous power, and you know, his opponent looked like he was hitting hard too, so maybe change up the style a little bit if he wants to shake up the division.
Yeah. Wins for Castaneda as well. Ellie Scottney, we had quite a good night, didn't we?
Yeah, we lost the big one, you know, Dillian White out of Allen, but even though there was no big signature name, all of these contests were entertaining, well matched, and yeah, the atmosphere, and it wasn't a full house, but it almost made for a better atmosphere. Like, people really enjoyed the night, so, and me too, me included.
Excellent. Guys, listen, you've been brilliant. Thank you so much. Andy, I imagine that you need to go and rest your throat after all the talking that you've been doing tonight. You were brilliant.
Mike does all the talking.
He does, actually, yeah. I was being kind to you. No, you're excellent. Kaylee, look, we look forward to your fight and wish you the best of luck as well. You're brilliant here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Excellent. Thank you as well for watching tonight. As well, there's loads more material, loads more stuff that you can go and watch on the Dazn platform. Just go and have a little look at the app. You can swipe through. You can see all sorts of breakdown. And we will see you next time on Beyond the Bell.